What up, doe? I am Fontaine the Titan. Want to say peace to the fam and to everybody raising their levels up to a real high level. Mission on knowing thyself and getting all things physical, mental, and spiritual in the right perspective, all right? And so I'm titling this video, Liar, Liar, the World is on Fire, right? And the reason why I titled it that is because throughout my journey, I realized that we've been lied to, just flat out, blatantly lied to about a whole bunch of things, right? So, I've been out here hanging out, kicking it with my peoples, had a bunch of stuff going on. And a lot of people been like, yeah, what up, Titan? Yeah, I love the stuff that you spitting out here. You spitting that real, blah, 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 and all of that cool stuff. And, I'm with it. I appreciate the love and all that. But, what I want y'all to understand is, this is part of my journey. Videos I'm doing, if it helps y'all, that's good. But it's really to help me. Help to remind myself on where I'm going and my journey along the way, the things that I'm learning, putting together to get to know myself, right? So, what happens is, I have a different understanding than most people have an understanding of. And what I'm out here doing, I'm trying to get as much information as I can, anything that's going to help me on all three levels, physically, mentally, and spiritually, right? And I had ended up picking up this little book here, right? Called Conspiracy, the Greatest Plots, Collusions, and Cover-Ups, right? For some reason, I was just like, all right, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to grab this book just because stuff like this interests me. When they talk about conspiracy theories and all that stuff, we get down to little stuff like, let's just say the moon landing, right? So what you got to understand is this is the 50th year anniversary of the moon landing. They're supposed to land it on the moon back in 1969. Now, 2019, 50 years later, and it's like I don't hear a whole bunch of hoopla about all of that. One of the things that this is the last paragraph that they have in this book talking about the moon landing. It says, for every point raised by the conspiracy theorists, there seems to be a rational, scientific explanation. So is there any likelihood that America faked the moon landing? Not really. As scientists have pointed out, given the amount of work it would have taken to fool the world on such an epic scale, it would have been easier to just go to the moon. And I'm sitting up here and I'm laughing at it, right? Because for me, I'm like, I do not agree with the idea that they have went outer space to the moon based on my own personal research. What happens is you get a lot of people who nowadays will say, no, I don't believe they went to the moon. It's kind of a taboo thing out here, whether you do or whether you don't or not, But even the idea that they would lie to you about something so big, why would they do something like that? So in my thought processes, I started rewinding it back, rewinding it all the way back. And I'm like, wait a minute, how did I get here? Doing videos on YouTube and spitting the knowledge that I spit to people and having the dope conversations that I have and building on a lot of higher physical, mental, and spiritual levels, because the spiritual aspect is where it's at. You know what I'm saying? But to take it to a degree further, I was one of those ones that was a Christian, And when I say I was a Christian, I mean that, hey, I got baptized when I was little. The reason why I got baptized is because my sister, she got baptized and she joined the choir. She a year older than me. I wanted to do everything she was doing. She ain't better than me. What you mean she could do that? I could do it too. You know how it is when you a little kid. So that was my first introduction, going to church, Easter Sunday, all of that cool stuff. Then I got a little bit older, and one of the things that kind of changed the game for me is when I went to go visit my grandma in St. Louis. I had to been, 10 years old, 9 years old at the time. I'm 9 years old. Go down to St. Louis, and my grandma was a real missionary. I'm talking about she did all types of dope stuff in her life. But one of the things that she made us do, me and my sister that's a year older than me, because we stayed there for the whole summer, we had to go to church every single Sunday. And I'm talking about not the Sunday that you thinking about when you go to church, then you go home, go out to eat. No, we was in church, Sunday school, first service, second service, and then go to another church after that and have service there. I'm talking about we was up from like 6, 7 in the morning, all the way to 8, 9 o'clock at night before we got done with church on the Sunday. I'm talking about it was real. So with all of that, that kind of feeds into your mind. You know what I'm saying? It feeds into you and fed into me. Hey, I believed everything they was telling me. I was like, why would they lie? Now that's the whole thing that I started to have to start processing when I got older. But what happens is I'm getting indoctrinated. I don't know I'm getting indoctrinated. I don't know nobody outside of who I know. And everybody I know say, what's the way is? It's Jesus, blah, blah, blah. Go to church, get baptized, heaven, hell, the whole nine. I'm with it, right? So for my middle school years, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, right? I went to a Catholic school, right? So my mama at that point, my mom was like, well, you done had enough church. If you don't want to go to church, you ain't got to go to church. But I'm in a Catholic school. I'm still going to church doing whatever they got us doing in there. So I'm learning all the stories, learning all about the Bible, and being told that all of this stuff is to be taken literally, right? So keep in mind this is my growing up, the adolescence of where everything get sunken in so deep on you that you don't really got a way out. So my first time ever hearing about anything being false or fake was when my homeboy Sandman put me up on game. You know what I'm saying? So I used to rap. That's where the whole Fontaine aspect came from. You know what I'm saying? My real name, that ain't no type of name you use for a stage name. I had to come up with something great. I chose Fontaine because it sounded like some real player smooth type of thing that I could just parlay into everything that I was doing. But besides all that, my name, I'll go on that on another video, let y'all know how that manifested to me being a Titan. But where I was at, me saying, man, we making music, making records, doing all of this, you know what I'm saying? So, I get a call from my homeboy Woody. Woody like, hey man, I need y'all to come get me. I got into it with my baby mama, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, all right, bet. Whatever they got going on, I ain't about to get into that. That's a whole nother story, whole nother issue. Point is, we go pick him up. We sitting back in front of my house, chilling, smoking, talking, whatever, doing our thing. So we get into the conversation. So Sandman told me, he was like, listen, he was like, the Bible is fake. Ain't none of that stuff real. All of that is basically just how like you believed in Santa Claus. This is my first time in my life ever hearing anything like this. This information just blew my mind. Like, I know what an atheist is, but I didn't think he was one. He like, nah, he say Bible stands for basic instructions before leaving Earth. And I'm sitting up there, I'm like, all right, I like the way you put that together, but that still don't mean nothing to me. I'm like, well, good luck to you on that. I ain't gonna stop being your friend because of it, but just know that you exploring the possibility of going to hell here, bro. That's something that you don't want to do. I'm wrapped up in. My brain is focused on what I've already learned, what I've already been programmed in my conscious and subconscious mind to believe what is true, based off nothing but what everybody else then gave me as the information that's supposed to be leading me to some type of salvation. But even with that being said, hearing that stuff for the first time, ball it up, throw it out the window. You got to, right? You don't have no other source of information. That's where I was at. That's how I really, I empathize with the people, and I understand where a lot of people come from, because the first time you hear something like the religion is fake, it's slaves, it's a slave system, it's a mental slavery and all of that stuff. The first time you hear that, man, you like, man, get out of here. I don't want to go to hell. You put all of that, somebody give you all of that and you scared. You like, man, I ain't trying to go to hell out here. That's the way I was feeling. Straight up. And I still rode on like that. I rode on like that for years. But then I had another kind of changing moment. You run into these changing moments that kind of open you up a little bit more. You only get opened up every so often. It's like a tap on your shoulder, like, you ready for it yet? No, I ain't ready. Then it'll back off for you. Then it'll come tap you on the shoulder again. You ready for this information again? No, I ain't ready for it. So the second time I got that tap on the shoulder, I was with my homeboy, used to cut my hair. It's a family, my homeboys, they all brothers. The oldest brother, Danny, he's first one started cutting my hair. I ended up needing a haircut. He like, man, I gotta take care of you. Bam, go over here, holler at him, getting my hair cut. So he cut me up. You know, of course, you getting a haircut and you having a conversation. And one of the things that he had told me, he was like, man, I'm a Mason and, you know, I got a whole different understanding about everything. And this was my first time. He told me like, man, that's a Bible code. This was my first time literally hearing it for real from somebody that I know that's telling me that, hey, it's true, it is a Bible code. And I'm saying, I'm like, well, what is it? You can't just leave me hanging with the information and not say nothing. I'm like, what I gotta do? I gotta join? I gotta be a Mason to get this information? He like, nah, you ain't gotta do nothing you don't want to do. The information is out there. This is the information age. This is the age of Aquarius. All you gotta do is search for the information. Boom, it'll come right to you. Everything you want to know is out there for you to know. I'm sitting up here. I'm like, all right, guy, finished getting my hair cut. You know, I did him a favor, went got something to eat after that. You know what I'm saying? Boom, boom, boom. And then after that, out of my mind. I ain't even worried about it no more. Keeping on going home, doing my la-di-da thing. Then meet my homeboy, Omega. Omega, we both, when we met at a job. You know what I'm saying? So we ended up building our friendship through the job and through other situations and circumstances. But what happened is during the time I had met him, he put me up on something called the Zeitgeist. And I didn't know what a Zeitgeist was. I had no idea, no clue what a Zeitgeist was. He said, look, watch this video. It's the Zeitgeist. It's about to break down everything for you. And when you're done watching the video, come holler at me. Come talk to me about it. So I watched the video. I'm like, bro, that was some out cold stuff. That's really, really deep. He like, you know, I'm on some stuff. I'm trying to learn everything. I'm like, well, this is the type of information that I want to know. And that's what really started to take me over the edge. Now, keep in mind, at this time, I'm still a Christian. So even though he showed me all of this stuff, I still haven't let that go. I'm still holding on to my religion, even though I have all of this new information, people giving me all this new information. Now it's on me to start figuring something out, right? So, you know, at the time, I'm still going to faith group with my brother. Got one of my older brothers. You know, he go to one of the biggest churches around here in the city of Detroit, Word of Faith. He got a faith group that he running. So I'm like, you know, of course, I'm going to come support the faith group. And it was like one moment in the faith group, when we praying to Jesus, and I'm just sitting up there with my head bowed, and I just started thinking about the Zeitgeist stuff that I had learned. And I'm sitting up here and I'm like, I don't think I'm about to come back to another faith group meeting. I think this whole faith group ideology and all of that, I think at this point, it's over with for me, right? And that was based on, at this point, that tap on the shoulder that I got, I turned around and I answered it. I said, wait a minute. I'm not about to be sitting up here afraid of everything, knowing what I know. See, what happens is we understand that the government lies to us, the world lies to us, and they got big, egregious lies out here. And you take little things about, you know, we look at the history of the United States of America, starting, 400 or so years ago, 500 years ago, taking that and saying what they're telling us about our existence here in America as being true based on the information that they're giving us. But what we have to understand is that America was started by the same people who was doing all of the stuff previously, from coming out of Europe and the Roman Catholic Church and all of that. So now I gotta rewind the timeline all the way back for myself. So now I'm on a journey searching for the information of where did all of this come from. Because when you start getting it around your head where all of this come from, you will start realizing like, wait a minute, they really are lying to us. And then we got examples in here in modern history about, you know, the lies that they told to us. You know, we got the Tuskegee experiment, right? You know, folks forget about that when they literally lied to all of those men and told them that they were giving them a vaccination or whatever for a health shot or whatever, but was literally injecting these men with syphilis and having them walking around their whole life while they performing an experiment on these guys, right? Then you got Black Wall Street, stuff that's hidden history. Then as you getting grown, you find out, you're like, wait a minute, I didn't know Rosewood was real like that. I didn't know that Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma was real like that. And you start finding out that they literally was hiding all of this information from us for their own personal gain, their own personal reasons. And we go get into that in a minute, what the true reason about what all these lies are all about. Because when it comes back to this conspiracies, and in this book they go through 9/11 and all of that stuff, and this is one of those books that tell you it's not a conspiracy. So they got all these conspiracies in here just basically to tell you that it's not true on their side of the game. But why should I listen to them about any conspiracy theory or anything that's supposed to be considered as truth, when these are the same people who stripped me, my people, the native people of the world, the melanated people, of their history, their language, and everything else? Why should I trust you, right? Because once I got past the religious aspect and understand the lies that was all in religion, I was like, all right, bet. Let me start putting everything on the table. It's got to be a reason why. But I'm like, all right, let me tell you like this. This is how I really, really took the next step going forward. Because I was like, well, they can't lie about astronomy. They can't lie about that. The moon and the stars is all up there for us. I'll get me a telescope. I'll go start checking it out myself. And as I started learning on that side of the game, some flat earth stuff started popping up on me. And I'm like, man, what? I'm like, it's clearly the earth is not flat. What are they talking about? And then next thing you know, I went down the rabbit hole because I'm not afraid to go at least see what the other side of the story is, right? And this is before I'm learning about the laws of Tehuti and learning about the laws of polarity and the two sides to each side of the story being unpolarized and understanding. My understanding started taking way big steps after once I got cracked into the laws of Tehuti. But when I started researching the flat earth, man, I was stuck for a second. Like, whoa, everything that they got to say, it's like, oh, okay, well, NASA got something to say about this and that, and you got everybody in the world, like, well, it's got to be true. And it's like, I said, wait a minute. If they lied to me about who my God is, why wouldn't they lie to me about anything else? Like, you lie to us about the Tuskegee experiment, who we are, where we from, about the atrocities of slavery. You know, y'all lie to us about everything. The whole world done lie to us, and now I'm taking it personal. Y'all lying to me, you know? And so now I'm taking the next steps personally. I'm like, well, if y'all really lying to me like this, I have to find out what the truth is. And if you're not out here trying to find the truth for yourself, then good luck to you. Because what happens is that they got everything set up to be a distraction, right? You got your sports, you got your reality TV shows, you got your concerts, you got your kids, you got your job, you got all of this stuff that literally takes your mind off of the fact that they're lying to you about everything. So when it comes to something like the flat earth or the round earth, I took it a step further. I said, well, what is this all about? See, when you start doing research, you start finding out more and more truths based on the information that you get. And this is a book called The Holographic Universe by Michael Talbot. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing his last name right. But anyway, he breaks this down, how all of this is basically an illusion. How is all of this an illusion when you can see, touch, taste, smell, and hear stuff? But if you start doing your true research, getting into the metaphysical side of the game, understanding what the ancients had to say, then everything starts to line up for a different type of understanding. But you got to be willing to go that far on your own research in order to be able to get there. Because 9 times out of 10, you're only going off of the information that you have been told your whole life, right? And the aspect of it is there's books everywhere that tell you everything. Got a book here, Christianity Before Christ. This breaks down all of the deities and everything that Jesus is based off of. So when you start looking at, are they lying about the earth flat? Are they lying about the earth round or flat? Are they lying about Jesus? Are they lying about outer space? My answer is, based upon the information and who I'm getting it from, I have to. There is no other choice for me but to look at everything with a skeptical eye. Keep in mind this, right? If you know somebody and they lie all the time and you know they're a liar, They come to you and they tell you a story about how they didn't hit the lottery and they got robbed, and you go listen to them and you be like, yeah, whatever. All right. And you go let that go and you go be like, man, I ain't believing nothing they say. If you're not going to believe nothing that your buddies say, your co-workers say, and all of these other people say, and you need substantial proof from your regular every single day people around here, why wouldn't you even hold these powers that be to the same standard? Why would you accept their information because they say that's who they are when they have been known to lie throughout the history of humanity? So getting to my point of my elevation, I'm saying I got to take this as far as I can, because they obviously lied about me to who I am, who my existence is. And now I'm on the aspect of learning to create my reality for myself. Ever since I started getting into this information, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I ain't had a bad day. Any bad day I had was already resonating inside of me through my intuition, and I learned how to follow my intuition to even avoid stuff that'll make my day bad. But it goes beyond just having a good day or a bad day, because on the spiritual aspect, on the higher levels, we got to understand everything is energy and vibration. We got to understand how they really manipulated our psyche, our train of thought, right? See, when we start talking about mind control, right? I got a book here. It's called Mind Wars by Marie D. Jones and Larry Laxman, okay? Now, I got another mind control book, Mind Control 101, but I like this book because in Mind Control 101, it breaks down every single mind control way you can be mind controlled. But in this book here, it breaks those down, but it also gives you some substantial stories and evidence on how they are really doing it, you know, and what the ramifications are. That's why it's called Mind Wars. You read something like this, it'll give you a better understanding and a better idea of what's really going on in your mind and why you believe these lies that you are being told to, and why you're being told that it's something outside of yourself that's got to come save you, you know, and the way that they jump lies on top of lies on top of lies in order to try to prove the original lie in the first place. Because they'll give you the Big Bang Theory just to justify Darwin's theory of evolution, just to justify Darwin's theory of gravity, just to justify the theory of relativity by Albert Einstein. But you got all of these theories that are only connected together based on ifs. So if something is an if, that's automatically should let you know that there is some loopholes into the game. So we're not looking at it on the straight up tip and saying like, no, what y'all saying to us doesn't make any sense. They just say, hey, we got these equations and all of this stuff that you will never understand, so you have to trust us. Well, that's not me. I'm not just about to trust anything that these people tell me. I have to go look it up for myself. And the one thing that I'm going to do and I continue to do, I try to give it to you from as much of an unbiased point of view as possible, even though you're going to know at the same time what I rock with. I'm still going to give you both sides of the information, but a lot of times what you got to understand is the truth is hidden. Just like my boy Danny told me back in the day, it's a Bible code. So I started to find out what words like, what these words really mean, what they was really trying to do, what these stories really mean, where these stories really came from, and why it's important for me to understand that. You know, because if you're not controlling your own mind, somebody definitely will. And they are doing it from the inception of our birth that's been given to us through our grandparents, great-grandparents, parents, and all of that's on down, cousins, aunties, nieces, and nephews, everybody around you that's indoctrinated, that's going to tell you that you're doing something wrong by even going to research this stuff, right? And they got pre-packaged answers for the questions that they know you're going to ask. And that is key. That is one of the most powerful aspects that most people don't look into. Because if I already know you're going to ask about space, I'm going to give you the answers. If I already know you're going to ask about your existence, I'm going to give you a guide. So this is the tactics that they use. Not only doing that, but even on the physical level, the control over the natural resources, the food, the water, and petroleum, lithium ion, all of that stuff, all of the wars that they got going on in other countries, the things that they don't tell you on media here in the United States because they don't want it to get out of the closet on everything that they doing out here in the world. And you got to keep in mind, it's not just the United States of America, it's all of the countries combined together. It's a collaboration of them expressing these lies to us because guess what? As long as we are under their control of what they want us to think, we'll never be able to get in touch with our true spiritual nature and who we truly really are in this existence, right? So let me break it down for you like this, right? Because a lot of people be afraid to learn things new. And, so I got a couple of subjects here that I am going to eventually get into one by one. So of course, we go get into the metaphysics. We go get a better understanding of what the metaphysics are. We go get a better understanding of all of that going on. We're going to get into the mythology. The mythology is dope. I got my mythology books. They on my shelf over there. I ain't about to bring them back down to show them. But if you see the previous videos, you know what they all about. But we go get more and we go dig deep into what the mythologies really are. Because the mythologies are truly our story that has been remixed and resold back to us in a way to keep us under control. When we go start decoding these mythologies, understanding what was happening in Norse mythology, Greek mythology, Egyptian mythology, and taking it all the way back, getting an understanding on a higher level what all of that means and how it really transfers into who we really are, then we can take it on a higher level. Because keep in mind, my goal here is to take this a little bit at a time. My assumption is that you do not know this information. So if you already know some of this stuff, cool. Either you resonate with it or you don't. Either way, I'm cool with it, right? Or maybe you'll run across a subject that gives you a spark to maybe go look into it to help you get down to your own path of learning your journey. Because it starts with the information. It starts with knowledge. Then you get the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So it just flows. After you get the understanding, that means you know it. You're able to apply it. Getting the wisdom, being able to say, that's when you're getting to the point to be able to teach somebody. Now, I ain't going to sit up here and act like I'm a master teacher. That is far out of my range. That's not what I'm proposing to be. I'm not even proposing to be a master student at this point. What I'm really proposing is that I'm following my own journey, and you can maybe learn something from my journey to take on your own. This is not a me saving you type of thing. This is a me addressing all of the things that I'm trying to understand. And along my way, maybe it'll help you. If it helps you out, good. If it don't, then that's fine. Maybe I might say something that'll resonate to you. But we go get into the mythologies. We go get into all the different cultures, all the different religions, start dissecting them up. We got more books on that. We're going to get to how to understand and overcoming the religious mindset. If you're trying to get out of a religious mindset, what are the steps that you need to do? And I will give you from what I did personally to be able to start getting past that religious mindset. Even if you say you're not in a religion no more, you 9 times out of 10 still have a religious mindset just from the way you was brought up. It took me years to start getting past just the religious motif and the religious customs and rituals and mindset and superstitions and all of that stuff that was embedded in me since I was growing up. We go get into the dark side of stuff. Who is Satan? Who is Lucifer? Why do people worship them? Why should they? Should they worship them? Should they not worship them? What is there anything other knowledge that they have that we don't have? Is it a flip to it? What's going on? We go get into all of that. We go break all of that stuff down too. Of course, we go get into the laws of Tehuti. We're going to finish that out. I left off with, I still got to do the principle of rhythm, and go on from there. But trust me, that's coming soon. We go break everything down physically, mentally, and spiritually. We go finish out the laws of Tehuti. We go start understanding what this ego is, what this humanity is, and what is the general idea of why we're here. Because when you start getting into that understanding, then you start getting into a different spot mentally of what your purpose really is. Because your purpose is to have a human experience, obviously, because we in here as humans. But if you start to say like, all right, yeah, I'm a human, I'm a soul having a human experience, then let's start to explain what this soul is or try to get an understanding of what it is. And I'm doing like I say, I'm doing all this for myself, and you could learn on the way with me, but the goal is for you to branch off and start doing your own thing and taking it to higher levels for yourself, because I can't get inside your head and make you do anything, just like you can't get inside my head. So in my mental construct and the way that I'm building stuff, this is my pace and how I want to do it. If I'm moving too slow for you, feel free to go holler at one of the master teachers or somebody else that's going to give you the information the way you want to give it to. But I would advise to go get it yourself and just use everybody else as a template for what you want to know and what you want to learn, right? We're going to get into the science of the occult. Right? Don't be afraid of the word occult. Because we're going to do a lot of stuff on the occult. We're going to do a lot of stuff on the metaphysics, because that's where the truth is really hidden at. On the stuff that they told you not to deal with. You know, all of the witchcraft and magic and everything else that they done told you was evil. And we go break down that, of course, we already went through the law of polarity, so we understand physically that there is no such thing really as good and evil. It's just a moral construct of how we think as humans. But we go take it to the next level and get a real understanding of how it really works, because your intention is what makes it a good or evil for yourself. But even on the spiritual level, it ain't nothing but energies and just lower vibrations and higher vibrations and energies that just feed off of what you put out there for it to come back to you. You know, we go get into dreams, astral traveling, lucid dreaming, symbols in your dreams, and we go start breaking all of that stuff down, because what we got to understand, and I was looking for one of my dream books. I thought I had brought it down, but I didn't. That's all right. We go get into that. But the concept of it is, what you got to understand is, we got a whole lot of information that comes through us through our dreams. And a lot of us just look at our dreams like, oh, they just dreams. They don't mean nothing. But having the understanding that I have, you know, that the dream world is the real world, and that's what we really need to be starting to tap into for ourselves. But we gonna go way heavy into that, because that's where the action is, in your dreams, in your meditation, and getting into higher levels of that. All right, we're gonna get into, of course, history on both sides, learning and understanding the energy. We go get into the energy of like money, because a lot of people think this money is real. All of that is a constructed lie. So we go break down exactly what money really is, how to rise above the money matrix and the energy that they use into control the money, and the mindset, the poverty mindset that you have, how to get out of a poverty mindset, how to raise up into and start tapping into those higher levels of energies, those prosperity and success and abundance, those energies, and how to consistently have those energies work for you so the money can follow you here in the reality that we living in right now. A lot of stuff we go get into. We go get into astrology and the zodiac, what all of that stuff mean, and how to rise above that. Because have you seen in my previous videos, if you watched my video about Easter and the Bible and all of that stuff, I think I got another one I was explaining to you that our goal is to rise above that zodiac matrix energy. We're not supposed to be sitting out here proud to be a Leo, proud to be a Scorpio, and talk about a Scorpio a freak, and you know a Cancer, is sensitive and all of that stuff. We supposed to be above those energies based on our divinity of who we really are. That's above that, But we go get into it and we go break all of that down. We go got heap more books. Of course, we go break down the flat Earth, the globe Earth, and what this holographic universe is really about, of course. And we go dig deep, because we go get into the quantum mechanics of it, what it really is all about, what the illusion really is, how this illusion really operates, and taking it a step further so that you can understand how you create your reality. Because the first law of Tehuti, the all is mind, the universe is mental. You got to understand that you are literally creating your reality with everything that you do. Your thought forms that come back to you to feed off of you on how you want to feel. You depressed because 9 times out of 10 you were saying you was depressed. Now you have an energy of depression spiritually feeding off of you because you don't know how to get past that. And of course, I'm not saying like, for example, it could be depression, it could be anything. But, you know, whatever those energies are, those are energies that are lit within inside of you that are also in another realm spiritually that feeds off of you. But we go get into all of that and break all of that down, chop it up down real good. We go get into, of course, all of the mind control, reprogramming the subconscious mind, understanding how that really goes down and how that benefits you in order to be able to make yourself more, to be able to create your reality better. Because if you haven't reprogrammed your subconscious mind, then you're going to still be running off the old program that they gave you. And keep in mind, the program that they gave you is literally to control every single aspect of who you think you are, right? So we got to get into knowing thyself. That's what all of this is about. Understanding thyself, knowing thyself on a spiritual level, right? On the divinity of who we really are before they told us who we were. And you will see that it all lines up on the ancient side of the game and on the modern side of the game. In the modern science side of the game, not the science that they're giving to you, the science that you got to look for in order to correlate, the science that they don't teach you in schools, the understanding that you would never learn in schools. And everything that you are learning in school is basically to get you into a certain program so that you could be able to live your lifestyle conducive to their benefit. But it's a way to escape out of that, and it starts mentally with understanding yourself, understanding how the mind works, and getting out of all of the mind control that they have on you, and then learning who you are spiritually and taking that to the next level. So, you know, it's a lot of stuff that we go get into, and we go have a whole heap of fun too. Because at the end of the day, it's all about, you know, alchemical transmutation, yourself personally. You know, if you still thinking the same thoughts that you was thinking 10 years ago, I feel sorry for you, because the goal is to be able to evolve mentally to take yourself on to the next level. And I must say this, if your journey is to be a Christian, you sit up here and you watch my videos and you say, all right, I'm going to still be a Christian, that's your business. I just want to say everybody got their own journey. A lot of people are lost, though, especially because I know I was one of them. I went through all of those different phases growing up through my Christianity, getting told that, hey, you know, you may need to look into this or look into that. And then now I'm to the point to where I'm really taking it seriously of learning and understanding that I have been lied to. We have been lied to. But if you don't want to understand that you've been lied to, that's your own personal business. If you want to sit up here and say, all right, that's a whole bunch of dope information, but you stuck in your cognitive dissonance and you say, all right, I'm just not going to deal with it, or you try to explain it away or give them some type of excuse for everything that they have done, then that's your own business. That might be part of your journey to be the opposition, because I know everything is built in duality, so I'm not going to sit up here and act like everybody's supposed to be down with what I'm doing. If you down with what I got to say that's going on, that's cool. I'm not here to be your leader. I'm just here to give you the information so you can help chop it down for yourself to get in a higher state for yourself, higher energy, high vibrations, knowing thyself, that inner you of who you really are, and not this physical body, not what you've been told out here by these people. You know, so yeah, indeed, I am back once again, and I appreciate y'all taking the time, because you know what? When you sit up here and you watch all of these videos, you are also taking in information. So I appreciate you taking the time to even have the interest in something different. That is real powerful. In order to, like I said, you're thinking the same thoughts you was 10 years ago. How about the same thoughts you was thinking yesterday and the day before that and the day before that? 99% of the thoughts that you have in your mind are the thoughts that you had yesterday and the day before that and the day before that. So how do you expect to create a new reality when you still have the same thoughts? Let's keep it real with ourselves on little aspects of the game of understanding how to move forward. Even if you don't take any of this information, that is your choice. But this helps me grow, helps me to learn and understand. And of course, the world is a liar. So let's not continue to sit up here and act like it's not, even if you don't want to do any investigation. So with that being said, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Subscribe and share. We got a whole bunch of new content coming up. And Follow me on Facebook if you want to at Fontaine Titan. Got the profile picture with the chakras on there. That's me. If you want to get in contact with me, email fontainethetitan@gmail.com. I ain't gonna do a whole bunch of advertising on to holler at me or not. That's up to you. I really don't care. If you want to kick it, we can. We can talk about whatever. But as far as anything else go, subscribe and share this, and we gonna keep on moving on to higher levels. Once again, stay successful, peaceful, prosperous, and healthy. Continue on your journey. As I said, this is a part of my journey. We're going to break a whole bunch of other dope stuff down, have a whole lot of fun along the way. So with that being said, peace.